Going to it to see if it's streaming. I think I'm gonna start by doing the Italian thing today. Yesterday I just played poker and I did a bunch of different pictures from Midjourney. And some of these look really, really good. So I'm separating the pictures by categories. And I still have to do, I'm trying to do 20 for each of them, roughly, to have as options on the site for now. Obviously, once I start writing articles, I'm going to do a lot more pictures as well. Try to do as many as I can until I have the plan. I think I'm only going to have the plan for 1 month, and then I'm going to stop paying because that's probably enough pictures for now. And then if I want more in the future, then I can go back, but I don't think it's going to be worth it to pay 2 months in a row. So I want to take the most advantage of the plan that I have now. So, and the only one that I have, the two that I have to do left is these ones. So I'm gonna use ChatGPT to, I think I already did, to ask for inspiration to create the prompts. Then I'm gonna create the prompts and I'm gonna do the images. And now I'm gonna work on the card components. I did the MetaMask thing and I did the 404 page and some other things I think from yesterday. And now I'm focusing on the affiliates link page. I did the card component as well. And I'm going to create another card component for the product because the card that I did is just to render text and some images, so I can put on the main page, or maybe if I want to use it anywhere else. And I'm thinking about using the same technique that I used for the card page, which is to do a box shadow that is kind of transparent or glass-like in order to be able to highlight the text. I'm thinking about doing this with the article as well. And I try to create the sidebar and then style the article page with the sidebar, but it's not working, and I think this is going to be a really annoying thing. And another thing that I realized that I made a very big mistake. Not not very big, but just a big mistake, because I was following the article from, not the article, the tutorial from the other guy to build this blog. And I also don't understand why he did things like this. Maybe his situation was different and he didn't realize that because he had less articles, but I also think it's a flaw of the logic, and I'm not really sure why he decided to do like that. But the problem that I realized here, and this is because I was focusing on the other problems and I wasn't thinking about I didn't know, I still don't know, I'm gonna have to research this about the article and how it works with the MDX. But the issue here is that I'm passing components here. So the way that the way that it works so far that I know of is that you have to pass components that you're gonna use in the article to this MDX remote component. You have to pass props to the MDX remote component. But the obvious problem with this is that this is gonna depend on which article I have. So I'm gonna have to change this function, which I'm already thinking about ways to do it, but it's still a pain in the ass because it might be really hard in the same way that it was really hard to figure out how to do the whole navigation system for the thing. But one way that I'm thinking about doing is just making it based on the props here, now that I realize, because this is being passed as props from the specific article. So I'm gonna have to look if there's a way, either this or the other way that I thought about it is that if maybe it allows me to import the stuff from the MDX file itself, which would be the best alternative, I think. So import from here instead of passing as props every time I'm gonna use, because that way it allows me to separate the logic for each one. But I'm not really sure if that's possible or not. I don't know why it wouldn't be if you can use the same syntax for getting the components. So I guess I can just test this out here. If that works, then I think that's the best solution, and I leave the logic for each article on its own page. It's a lot more simple. But then if I can't do it like that, then I'm gonna try to figure out. I think the second best alternative is to figure out how to pass as props by using some function here on get static props in the API file. And if that doesn't work, then I'm thinking about creating another page and then making that page the template for articles. And then it's going to be a lot more complicated because I'm going to have to think about the get static paths, get static props for the page as well, and how I'm going to write down the logic to get everything based on the path. But either way, I think I have to rely on the get static props here. So probably this solution will work, the second solution. I don't see why. If this fails, the other one would work because both of them are dependent on the logic of get static props, depending on the path that the user is at, to change the logic of the article, the components that I'm going to pass to the article. So I'm just going to show how it looks now. And I'm going to do the Italian thing first, but first I'm going to show how it looks. Also, I changed here for a button because I realized that I didn't like that switch component from TeamUI because it was bugged here and it looked kind of weird on the thing. I also added a background for the navbar because I didn't have one, and I realized I didn't have one once I created the 404 page. So now it looks like this. I think I might add some space here as well because I'm not sure if it's too close. I'm obviously going to change the color of the buttons and the thing once I finish everything. I also changed this navbar because this was looking not really nice, so I put it on the same div, and I think now it looks better. And then obviously I did these cards here and then put these images, which I'm not sure if I'm going to leave it like this. And this is another thing that I'm thinking about because the challenge with, there are two downsides of midjourney. One is that you can't use whenever the image has text, the text is always really bad. Also is really bad with faces and hands and things like that. So whenever you have a person, it's very hard to get a good image. And whenever you have text, it's very hard to get good text. And the other difficult thing is the aspect ratio, which obviously I figured out how to do the flag that you put AR in the end here, and then I'm using the 3x2, which is for large images for most of them. But then I have to figure out which aspect ratio is going to be good for a card image here. And this is one problem because then I'm doing a bunch of different images, and then I have to either convert the images that I have or spend a bunch of time creating a bunch of other images with different aspect ratios and then create different libraries and things like that to put these images so I can use on the card. But I think I'm gonna do that once I'm finished with the health and fitness section here. So for the card, I'm gonna research what aspect ratio would be the best to fit on the card, and then I'm gonna put the flag for that, if hopefully it has. And the thing is that it's challenging because if you change the width and the height of the image in the way that I did the card component, it's kind of weird because it doesn't allow me to change the resolution of the image, I think. So if I increase the width, it automatically increases the height as well. I can't just make the image like the width larger and then fit the box. And yeah, that's the reason why I had to change the props there on the card component to adapt to that. And that's the reason why I'm creating another card component, which is going to be for the products, which is I'm probably going to use on the sidebar thing. Yeah, and this, I'm not really sure if it looks good or not. Obviously, it's going to change the color of the text here once I change the theme, but I have to think about if I leave this image here or I put another one, or if this even makes sense or not to put here. I just put here because I wanted to put like something that tells that there isn't an article on this page, and in order to read the article, you have to click on one of these. Oh, another thing that I have to do that I forgot is this button here, this filter button. And I'm gonna leave this for last, I think. So this is the reason why I decided to put this on the card here, because I don't know, it looks better, I think, than just to leave the text, but I'm not really sure. This is the kind of stuff that I was talking about that is hard to know which is not a problem of not knowing or knowing CSS and HTML or JavaScript, these things. Because obviously I can do everything that I want with time, but the problem is the intuition of how this is going to be perceived by someone that has no idea about what I'm doing and is going to read an article and navigate the page. Like I have very little experience with understanding how the person is going to feel. So I'm just judging based on off what I like and what I think looks good. But obviously it can be wrong. So it's very hard to tell. So I guess this is just something that I'm gonna have to experiment with. And I'm gonna leave it like this probably in the beginning. And then once I have more articles and hopefully I have some traffic, then I can use the data to test things out, I think. But that's for far in the future, I think. And then the article page is the one that is a problem. So here you can see, like I try to change the width of this, and it's very hard to make it fit because I don't understand really well how it works. Because obviously it would be better if I could style the article outside of the whole MDX remote thing, the whole component, because that makes it a lot easier to. The idea that I have is like put the article in a box like a div, and then fix the dimensions and the layout of that div in relationship to the rest of the page, and then think about the article as a separate thing for styling the article itself. But I'm not really sure if that's possible or not because of the way that this seems to work, because I can't change the width and the height. Not really sure how to do that, so I'm gonna have to, and this is gonna be the most annoying part because I already researched and it seems kind of hard to find stuff about this. Yeah, so I built this div here and then this div here to wrap this sidebar, but it doesn't work. And then I created this simple sidebar component here with the help of ChatGPT because I want to create something that scrolls along the page, but this is not working, obviously. This is the sidebar here. So, and also it's kind of hard to find information about this. Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to load the image here. Oh, this is, okay, this is inside of, no, this is in programming. So where's the image? That's this one. Okay, it's here. So let me see if I can import this thing. I think this is metadata thing. So if it is possible, it's probably from here. I think this. Image, nice image. And let me put another image here. I don't know now that why I have logging home here, so I think I'm gonna. Oh, this is the subscribe page. So maybe I didn't put pictures on the subscribe yet. Now let's put 11 here. Home 11. That doesn't work. So now obviously I'm gonna test for based on this thing here. Oh, but maybe actually it doesn't matter because you can pass the component only, the image thing. But I don't understand why this is not loading if that's the case. Because it should be. Slash image. Because the thing here, it's only passing the image as the component. So there's nothing special about this image that is passing there. Like I don't need to pass the source. So if that's the case, then I can do it very easily with props only. Let's see. Because I can pass another component there. Let's do video. I just want to see if it's gonna give me any message. Yeah, I think that's not a problem then, if I can do it like this and it's still gonna load. Because then I can pass all the components that I'm ever gonna use on any of the articles and it still works. So I think that's not hopefully that is not a problem. But I don't understand why it's not loading here. That's the thing. Let me do the Italian thing and then I didn't start doing things and then you get into the flow, let's say. I'm going to do the Italian thing and try to solve the other stuff first so I can get that stuff out of my mind. And then after I finish all of them, then I handle the sidebar and the other thing. I wanted to finish everything today, if it's possible.
Fa.
Fa.
Does.
Fisso.
Fisso.
Set. Unchanging.
3.
3.
3.
Desiderare.
Desiderare.
Desire.
Aria.
Aria.
Air.
Bene.
Bene.
Well.
Anche.
Anche.
Also.
Giocare.
Giocare.
Play.
Piccolo.
Piccolo.
Small.
Fine.
Fine. Fine.
End.
Mettere.
Mettere.
Put.
Casa.
Casa.
Home.
Leggere.
Leggere.
Read.
Mano.
Mano.
Hand.
Portare.
Portare.
Carry.
Grande.
Grande.
Large.
compitare,
compitare,
Spell words.
aggiungere,
aggiungere,
Add.
anche,
anche,
Even, also.
terra,
terra,
Land.
qui,
qui,
Here.
devo,
devo,
I must.
grande,
grande,
Big.
alto,
alto,
High, tall.
tale,
tale,
Such.
seguire,
seguire,
Follow.
atto,
atto,
Enact.
perché,
perché,
Why.
chiedere,
chiedere,
Ask.
maschi,
maschi,
Men.
cambiamento,
cambiamento,
A change.
è andato,
è andato,
He, she went.
luce,
luce,
Light.
tipo,
tipo,
Kind of thing.
spento,
spento,
Turned off.
bisogno,
bisogno,
Need.
casa,
casa,
House.
immagine,
immagine,
Image.
provare,
provare,
Try.
noi,
noi,
Us.
di nuovo,
di nuovo,
Again.
animale,
animale,
Animal.
punto,
punto,
Point.
madre,
madre,
Mother.
mondo,
mondo,
World.
vicino,
vicino,
Near.
costruire,
costruire,
Build.
se stesso,
se stesso,
Himself.
terra,
terra,
Earth.
padre,
padre.
Father.
I wanted to search for other projects. I think I'm just gonna look at the source code and then to see how they do the styling. Because I already think I know, and not only the styling, but how they structure the data. Because I already know how I'm gonna do it, but the card, but I'm still thinking about what's the best way to save the data. I think I'm gonna put for affiliate products the name of the company, the product name, and then the link. But then I thought about it and I don't need to put the link because I can just make the link part of the card. So wrap the card on the link. So when you click the card, it goes to the whatever the thing is. So I just need to put the name and then the name of the company and the name of the product. So it's not that hard, but the thing is how to structure where to put the data, so that is the best way possible to add stuff later on. And I was thinking about putting in a page or in a file, a JSON file that is an array, and then each array has an object with the product name and the company, but I'm not really sure if that's the best way. Yeah, so it looks like that's the way they do it. Do I need an ID? Or maybe I should put an image as well. Yeah, that's a good idea. Because then I can... And that's the thing, that's the reason why I want to do this stuff first, is because while I still have midjourney, I can have an idea of what all the products are kind of gonna look like. So I can generate a bunch of generic pictures that represent the product somehow. So for example, a mouse, I don't need to take a picture of the exact mouse, but in midjourney what you can do is to take a picture and then post it as inspiration for the AI. And I think that's a very good idea, because then I can take the pictures and of the products themselves and then use that to prompt the AI to create more images, and then I can use all the variations of the images in a more generic way that allows me to have flexibility in the future. So I stack up a bunch of different images so I can use for whatever products I decide to do affiliates with. I think I'm gonna do it exactly like this for the thing, but then I just put a conditional statement on each one of them to make it as optional. Actually, maybe I make all of them required because it makes sense. So category is another thing that I think it makes sense to do. So I'm just gonna copy this stuff here. And I'm gonna put this on a JSON file, I think. Maybe I'll do a normal file so it's easier to... I already created the name, but I'm gonna change the extension so it's easier to get it on the other file. I have an idea here as well here. I think. I was gonna do the image path for the beginning, but I don't think it's worth it. So I don't have to type the relative path all the time, like the MJ. I'm probably gonna leave all the pictures on this MJ for midjourney. And then it's gonna be on the cards components. So instead of having to type MJ/cards, do the path there. It's not sure if that's worth it or not. Let me do that. I think it's better than write it all the time. Oh, actually, I'm probably gonna do, because I have images for other cards, so I'm gonna do product here. Yeah, so now I'm gonna close these other files. And this I just copy from the other card components, but then adding the extra stuff here. So I think we're gonna leave children for last. And I'm gonna leave children so that in case I wanna put some text to explain something about the product, then I can do that. Image I already have. I wonder if the price is a good thing to put there. I think the price is not good, probably because it's gonna change all the time. So unless but that's gonna be in the very future if I decide to do that, to code an API to get the prices from somewhere, and then obviously the link I have to pass as well. And do product link so it's not confusing. Oh, an ID of reference. Oh yeah, should have done the other way around. Because I can just like this. Yeah, image is gonna be here, so yeah, source. And I think I'll wrap everything on the link. I guess I can just test that. I'm gonna test it because it's easier. I'm just gonna get a random URL like this one and then do the href here. Yeah, then I'm gonna put the product link here. But first, let's test this stuff. Oh, also, I forgot to say this, but I think this was a long time ago already. But I think it was this file. Yeah, for some reason, after I closed, I remember when I set this up, it wasn't working. And I didn't know why, but then for some reason, after it closed and opened again on another time, another day, I think, it started working, so I decided to switch some of them. But I'm not sure if I switched all of them, and I probably gonna do that eventually. But what this allows you to do is to use this add thing here to get the path instead of having to put the two dots all the time, which is very convenient. So here I'm doing this instead of putting the relative path there with the two dots. So let me think. I need to import this products. And then the thing is that this I put on the root folder, so I'm gonna have to do the relative path. Not sure if this is here. Oh yes, affiliate products. Yeah, that's the thing though, because I can make the link here on this page instead of making on the other one. Which one is better? So instead of putting the link here on this file, this file here, wrapping everything with this link, I can do it here and then, because that allows me to have flexibility just in case I want to use this card on the other page. But I don't see why I wouldn't put the card without the link. Because if I want to do that, then I use the other card. Yeah, and if I have a product card or something like that, then it's probably gonna have a link. Even if it's a relative link to my own page for something that I build in the future, but it's still gonna have a link probably. So I don't see a reason to put a card that doesn't have a link. So I think I'm gonna leave it inside of the card as well. Here I'm gonna put different then. I need to make a condition if I'm gonna do that. Maybe I can do it like this. Oh, it's complaining about the type. But I still think it's better to... I'm gonna create a type here first. I don't remember really well how to do the type. I think it's like this. I think I have on this page here. Yeah, it's supposed to be like this. Oh, here he's creating an interface, not a type. That's the thing. categories. Image name price. Image name price. Oh, I forgot to delete the price actually. Let's see, ID. I can also open to the side so it's easier to see. So ID, brand, categories, image name. Oh yeah, maybe I should put the link here as well. The brand, categories, image name, product link. I don't understand why this is. Saying that is not assignable to type React node. So it's probably happening because I have inside of this thing here, but I don't understand. I don't know how to fix this. It's happening because I'm using this thing here, but the issue is how to solve this. Because I can't really put here, I think, as well. It doesn't make sense. Who knows? Maybe that's the problem. Products. So let me see if here it's gonna work now. No, that's the issue. it's probably happening because inside of this component here, there is the same issue that I always have with TypeScript, that because of these components accepting some children as props, the children are declared as React type whatever, and then because I'm passing this, there is inconsistency in the types. It's just annoying as hell. It still works. So maybe it's something from React itself that declares this as a React type node or something like that. And then when I do this, it doesn't work. The reason why I'm trying to verify here is because list is not a false value, empty list is not a false value in JavaScript, so I have to check if it is equal or not to the empty string, because if it is, then there is no products. But maybe to make things easier, I should just map over them, because I'm gonna have products anyway, so there's not gonna be a situation where I don't have products. But it's still annoying. Wanted to understand this, but it's really difficult to figure out. And this is the stuff I hate about TypeScript, is that it's just an annoying thing to deal with. And there's nothing you can do, because it depends on. This is the biggest problem in my opinion, is because it depends on how everyone structures their libraries. So you have to understand. But maybe it's because I don't know well. But then if someone decides to do a library without types, then it breaks the whole thing, because then you have to, for each library you have to search all the types and things like that, and it's just something that it doesn't matter for building the actual logic that is gonna do the thing. So like, it's not, I don't think it makes faster because of the, they say it makes faster because of the development, which I can understand if we're working on a big thing, but I guess the only way that I see that this makes things better is when you have a very large team, and then everyone needs to read each other's code on large files, so you understand what type of thing you're dealing with. But yeah, outside of that, it just seems like it makes everything worse, because now I have to figure out what type is each thing, and then figure out a way to deal with this. And see there where I'm getting again. I guess this is useful because of the, like I was talking about, because when as far as I understand, the way that React works is like a tree structure, that everything flows from the top to the other components, and then we can use contacts to move around the components, but then under the hood I assume is doing the same thing, where you're not avoiding prop dealing, let's say, you're just making it easier for developers to deal with prop dealing. Prop dealing is when you have a bunch of props that are passed from the top to down to the lower levels of components, and then it gets to a lot of props, and then it gets really confusing because you don't know which component is using each props, and you have to pass everything so that the components have access to that. And probably there's other stuff under the hood as well, because if you wanna use the same props for components that are on different sides of the tree and different levels, then if you use context, it's gonna work, but then it's probably doing something that I don't understand really well under the hood to make that possible. There's another library that's called Recoil as well that allows you to use context simultaneously for both parts at the same time. There's a very good video about this from a guy that I remember watching. But yeah, because of this, I think that this is the reason for using these types on the React, because then if you're on a large application and you don't know what components are going to use each props, then you can get lost on the flow of data, and it gets easier to debug because then you can just see the types. But it's very hard for me to see the benefit because I never worked on something that big, I think. So like, I don't understand, I can't see really well like how it's beneficial to have the React type node there and how it's going to make it faster to figure out what's wrong. But I think it's one of the things that you only see the benefit once you work on a really large application. So there's not much you can do by studying this stuff because it's not gonna allow me to understand like the benefits of it. And it was one of the challenging things about the educational systems as well, because the problems in life are complex, and then the educational system breaks things down to make everything easy so that you're able to improve at your level of understanding. But the issue with that is that it turns you into this like slave mindset where you're being told what to do, and people have natural resistance to that, so it discourages people from learning. And I think a much better approach is to use curiosity instead and begin with the end in mind. So you think about something that you want to do, and then you break down the systems that from a first principles approach of how the thing is structured, and then you're constantly reflecting through self-awareness over what the principles are and if they are true or not in order to navigate the unknown. But obviously that's very hard to do, and not a lot of people can do it because you can get lost in the ideas and you can become crazy. That's the reason why a lot of people have rationalizations towards new ideas, and it's hard to be open-minded, because when you're open-minded, it challenges the whole structure of your identity, and you have to rethink all your patterns of behaviors that are synchronized with the reality, because everything you do is in sync with reality and picks up gravity over time. So that's the reason why as people get older, it becomes harder to change, because you get stuck with the patterns that you're currently implemented and helped you survive. So if a new idea comes, then let's say for example you start thinking that it's good to jump off the top of the roof, then you decide to act on that, then you're gonna die. So obviously there's gonna be resistance for new ideas, because that's the mechanism of self-protection from the limbic system, and that's where rationalizations come from. And also because it allows you to minimize the energy, because you don't have to think, and also you don't have to take the risk of changing the whole structure of your identity, which is going to change your relationship to space-time, which is going to increase the risk that you die. So yeah, but a much better algorithm I think is to think for first principles, and then have this paradoxical mindset of understanding that all your actions and assumptions about life can be wrong at any time, but you're playing with probabilities essentially. So you take incremental steps into the unknown, and then you use a Nash equilibrium algorithm to try to see if the risks you're taking are balanced in relationship to that. I think that Jeff Bezos said something like that he views the life as a minimizing regret, which is pretty much the algorithm that poker uses, the Nash equilibrium. Minimizing regret minimization, which leads to game theoretical approach, optimal. But I also think that it's not only that, you have to do both things at the same time, because sometimes the best approach is to exploit. So, and this is something that is really hard to understand. And I was thinking about studying this again, because it's not necessary that if you play, or if you try to play Nash equilibrium approach, game theory optimal approach, that you're gonna win. You're just playing more defensive, which means that you're decreasing the chance of yourself becoming exploitable. So the Nash equilibrium strategy is the one that it doesn't matter what your opponent do, they can't make your results worse, but that doesn't mean that your results will be the best that can be. And sometimes you can be losing money by trying to play Nash, because you're not exploiting the imbalances of your opponent. So Nash equilibrium only gets to Nash equilibrium by the exploitation and the iteration of exploitations between two or more opponents. That makes the thing, so you have to be forced into getting one layer deeper, let's say, to approach Nash. And if you're not being forced to that, then you're just being worse off by trying to play Nash. That's the flaw of the regret minimization technique, because I think reality is the paradoxical point of the fluctuation between exploitation and Nash equilibrium, because it converges towards infinity. So there isn't a fixed Nash equilibrium to life, because there's only a fractal paradigm that you can reduce all the complexity into trying to get the most optimal strategy in relationship to whatever the state of matter that you're capable of analyzing to the sensors of your perception that creates the relationship between algorithms and data. A better question to ask is how to load the type. How to load something. See if I do like this, what happens? Maybe I have to, but I don't know, I don't think I can destructure this, you know. is not gonna work. Because I'm already getting the file, so the issue is I'm spending a bunch of time with this bullshit. That's the problem. Thinking about just doing it, and then after I finish everything, then I go back if I have time, because I want to finish what's important first, instead of worrying about this. Let me write the stuff that I want to do, and then I'll think about it. Products. And now I have to pass the prompts. And now that yeah, but the thing about passing text is because I should have another field here for text as well. Maybe I'll put description here, and then I pass this as children, or I just do the description name, so it's better. And then I'll usually do like this, but then sometimes put some description there. So products, description. Different categories. Nice image. I'm still getting this annoying thing, and then another error here. This is another annoying thing that I always run into, but I couldn't figure out how to solve it yet. And I remember doing like this and like this, it doesn't work. It's something like this. And maybe if I'm gonna do, this is another thing that I'm not sure about. If I'm gonna do like this, I need to pass as a description inside of the thing and not the way that I'm doing here. Which I think I'm gonna do. So I'm not gonna do like this because it's easier. And now it works. Well, I guess I need to put it in here, but that's the thing because this is a JS file. Usually how I solved this was by doing that. Now I remember, where I would put the like string here and then the other ones, the type of the other ones. But because this is a JavaScript file, I couldn't figure out how to solve it in this situation. So that's the reason why I think this problem is like that, where you have the same situation, like React under the hood is rendering the node with some function and something like that in TypeScript. And that function has a type here on the props because it has to receive the children to do stuff with it. And then I have to do something here to specify that, but I don't know what to do. Like sometimes I get this and then sometimes I don't. I think maybe I'll get it all the time, but I just don't realize it. Because sometimes you're passing stuff inside of the component as props, and sometimes you're passing children, so I haven't paid attention to know if I get that all the time or not. Yeah, it's saying that products is never gonna be an empty list because they're two different objects. And I wonder why it worked on when I did the components though. Because that's the thing. The reason why I did like this is because the components, the categories. Yeah, here. Oh, this is the stuff that I added for the filters that I'm gonna have to think about as well. Now, what I'm thinking about doing for the filters is just a condition where I filter the thing for finding the files or not, if the condition is true. You use two different use states, and then change the use state based on whether the button is clicked or not. And based on that, you select which one you're gonna display. Yeah, so I think I would have to do the condition outside of here. But then it might be a problem as well. Because I don't wanna... I was thinking about whether or not to use effect here and then do props in destructure props here and then make the condition for the filter so that I use another name here. But I think that's more problematic. I'm thinking about an easier way to do this. Like for one of these conditions here probably. I guess I can just do on the return statement. So I do the ternary depending on the return. So if I have the use state on, then I make a condition based on this this post name here, which determines if it is a file or not. So if it is a file and then I have the thing on, then I render the components. If not, I return the components. If not, the problem is that I have two different use states. I have to filter based on folders as well. Yeah, that's another problem. Yeah, so here is what I was talking about. Like, why does it work here but not there? I guess I'll just leave. I'll just map through the thing and not, because I know that there's always going to be a product there. Maybe I can use states as well, is a better solution. Or use effect with use state based on some variable, and then I can decide whether or not to map through that. I think that's a better solution. So I'm gonna leave it like this for now. Well, I think the other problem is probably because I was looking at the other page. Yeah, I was looking at the wrong post. So this is working, I think. So MJ Barnes. Sitting. I think now it's gonna work. Hopefully it's gonna work. It's still not working. Don't understand why though. Maybe I have to put inside of this. But I don't think that's gonna make any difference. Oh, PNG. That's the problem. Let's see if it works now. Still doesn't work. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's great news, I think, because that means that I don't have to redo everything or think about another solution. All I have to do is pass every single component that I'm gonna use. Because I think if I don't have the component, it's not gonna complain because I already tested here. Like I'm passing video but not using, which is not a problem because in some components I'm gonna use and some components don't. And if that wasn't the case, then I can also put a conditional here to be like an empty string, but obviously it wouldn't be ideal. But I think this way, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, so that's very good. I was just thinking about it yesterday, but like fuck, I'm gonna have to rethink everything that I did. It's gonna be really hard and take a lot of time as well. So thankfully it works. And now let me go to the other page. I forgot to import link there. And now I'm wondering whether or not to use... I think I'm gonna use the NextJS link. But I noticed, I don't know if I said this before, but the link on Team UI is different than Next.js. The link in Team UI goes directly to the root. It goes from the root into whatever path you put on the link. And Next.js goes from whatever path the browser is at the moment, and then puts the relative path after. So they work fundamentally different. But because I'm gonna use an actual link outside of the page, probably. Oh, actually I have to think about this because maybe I will use a relative path at some point as well. So, and depending on which one I choose, then it's gonna be different because of the whatever path I need to put on the products folder. So I think it's better to use Next.js because if I am gonna have a problem with that, it's probably gonna be because of the component there, the posts page, this page. Because on this I'm using the Next.js link, and this is the complicated part of the relative paths. So I think it makes more sense to use Next.js here. Oh, I forgot to export from the index. I think. Oh, looks like it's here. Product card. So it's probably here or here. Maybe it's the image. You have all the fields there. Exporting here. Maybe it's this thing here. We have to destructure this. And then yeah, I don't know what's wrong here. Because it's saying the problem is that... So the only thing that I can think of is this thing here. Maybe I should try to put here. But I also think that is not the problem. Don't see why it would be. So ID, brand, categories, product name, description. I don't think this is gonna change, but it's worth trying. Yeah. Maybe it's the name of the function, but I don't see like the way that it is declared here, but I don't see how that would make any difference. It must be something else. Element type is invalid, special string for breaking components. Maybe. Oh, it has to be the file name should be correct, I think, because it is going to the endpoint. I also don't see. The problem is that the error is giving me. I don't see how. I guess I can try to change this, but I don't think it's gonna make any difference. Because I have to return this thing. Maybe that was the problem, I think. I'll try to go back. But am I doing like this? Because I think I'm doing like this on the card component. And the card is working. The thing is that I don't see what else can be the error here. So the question that I have now is obviously if that is what's happening, then why does it work on the card and doesn't work on the product card? If it is the return here. Let's see if it's working now. It still doesn't work, I think. What else can be a problem? Yeah, the only thing I can think of is maybe it is this thing, maybe it's probably this. Let's see, but the thing is I don't see why it would work on the other one and not here. So I also think that's not the problem, you know. It's also not giving me any warnings there. So the only thing I can think of is this thing here because I'm passing empty string. But yeah, maybe that's the problem, but I don't think it is. So let me, I think the fastest way is just to write anything here. And it still doesn't work. If I do this, it doesn't work. Or maybe, but I also don't see why this would be the mistake here. Also doesn't make any sense. It seems to be correct everywhere as well, the name of the thing. It's probably something really stupid that I'm missing. I don't think it's this name here because I tested putting the string there. Doesn't work. Let me see. I think a great idea should do this. Actually, yeah, it is showing there. Let me copy this code here. That's the issue. This product is not gonna be... So I think I should destructure this. Or maybe I just put the things here. Hopefully it's this, but the thing is that there is not talking anything about this. So I'm not really sure if this is gonna work or not. So image name, product link. Oh, actually, yeah. Yeah, still the same issue. Huh. So maybe what I should do is console log again. This seems to be working, so... What else can be the problem? Oh, maybe it's the name here. Looks like it's not that. So what else can be the mistake here? I think I'm gonna stop here, go eat something, and then I'll try to figure out this off stream. Then maybe I come back and my goal is to finish all of this stuff today, hopefully. I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish the style MDX thing. But hopefully the other ones I can do it. Sidebar also, because sidebar and style MDX are the same thing. It's gonna be the same problem. So maybe this 3 I can finish today, and then I'll see with this one. It's gonna be really hard. And this should be the easiest once I figure this out, then yeah. But I'm gonna stop here, go eat something. Maybe I'll come back today as well. I'm also gonna work out at some point, so I'm not really sure. If I don't come back today, I'm probably gonna come back tomorrow or 2 days from now. Almost 100%